I was asked to cover a riff that I did that I use a lot, and it's a Jerry Lee Lewis riff, and it goes something like this. If I can slow it down properly, it should sound. And because you play it so fast when you do it in full, you don't really have to worry about sort of like dotting and cutting. You know, you're not going to go. You know, because when you get it at the speed, just actually playing the note at all makes it sort of in time. So what you're going to have is you're going to have a D sharp, an E, and a G. Play it with your pinky, I would recommend, because then you now have to do this. Now you could go like that if you have that kind of hand. So you're going to have D sharp, E, a G. I play it like this, which is probably maybe not the best way to play it, but I go back to that D sharp, D, C, down to an A. Right? So D sharp, E, G, D sharp, D, C, A. And then you have G, a slur back up to the A with an A flat. So you're gonna sort of slur back up to the A and then jump back down from a C to the A to a G. So slow down really slow, you're gonna get. So once you get back to that G, so you're actually going to jump right back down from that G to doing your slur again. So when you do the second sort of scale of that, once you're now you're about to jump into your sort of second version of that, you're not going to play the D again because it's too hard. It's very difficult. You could, but I don't think it's going to let you play it in time. So what you do when you're jumping down from this G is you're just going to play the slur from the E flat. So you'll notice I'm actually just repeating the same, I guess you could use the word motif there. Right? So very slowly, if you practice that, you should practice it to begin out as. Right? I like to end it with something going back up, so I like to end it. You know, sort of a Fats Domini little thing there. You have say I'm going to end it right there. I come back up. Instead of going right back down, when I'm about to end the riff, I'd come back up and do something like that, where I'd go G, slow up to an A, C, D sharp, you know? And you can go. I think I covered that in another one of my tutorials. Just sort of, that's a Fats Domino riff there. G, an F, a D sharp, and a C. So you might have. Or. Right? So that's a fun little riff. And you can play it in G and F very easily. I personally cannot play it in any other key. I guess a D you could play it in a little bit. So I'll show it in all three of those keys nice and slow, and I'll just describe the notes that if you want to transcribe it into, that gives you three more keys you could play in with that riff. So the easiest one to go from, easiest always, is from C to a G. G is basically just C with one note changed, right? So, and I guess that note, which is the same note there, but in relation to your chord, you have a white key instead of a black key to make a seventh. That's the only difference in G. So that's really good with this particular riff because you're not actually using that seventh F there at all. So if you're going to play it in G, you're going to have an A, B flat, B, up to a D. Same thing there, but now you're doing a B flat, an A, a G, and an E. D sharp, E, right? You have that G, D, and then you're gonna do that same thing again, remembering to leave the third part of the slur out. Now you're just gonna play, right? And then if you want to do it in F, again, very easy because you're still using the same combination of black and white keys, so you don't really have to move your hand position, which is one really nice thing about transcribing this particular riff, C, F, and G. Your hand doesn't really have to move that much. When you're in F, you start on a G, G sharp, A, up to a C, D, da, dee, do, A flat, G, F, D, C, C sharp, D, F, D, C. So, and then it gets a little trickier in D. I don't usually play it. See, as you can see, I'm not really dexterous enough to do that full three-note slur there. I'm sure if I dedicated myself a little bit more. In fact, why don't I teach you that there? Maybe if you learn it, then it's not as hard to play when you don't know it. You're going to come up from an E this time. And keep in mind, now your hand's going to move its shape. And so that's what makes this a really hard riff to move into different keys. You're going to come up for an E, F, and now you're going to be on a black key for your anchor note there. You're going to have an F sharp. Go up to an A. That's actually easier to play in this situation, the actual riff down. You don't really have to do anything fancy with your hands. You can leave the fingers at a very easy pace. F, E, D, B. You know? Right, now you have A sharp, B, D, B, A. So then you have, remembering to leave out that first part of the slur there. So I'm going to show you just a really good example of how you can use that riff, because it's a Jerry Lee Lewis riff, and it goes really well in sort of those slower country songs. So I think he did it most notoriously in You Win Again. So you sort of all the news is out. What's great about that is once you get this, that's a super good riff to be able to play. So just this, that little lick there, you hear that in the background of all sorts of like BB King kind of things, you know? So you can vary off from going down. You could go up. You could just leave your fingers in that nice little position there and use that same starting slur. Your A, B flat, B, and then you could go up, you know, say a D, an E, and a G. And I think I might have taught that one before. That's a Fats Domino riff there. So that's a super good thing to learn. A lot of those one note at a time riffs stem from that starting. And you can even add it into your sort of like traditional, very, very standard. So instead of just going, you could go. So I just wanted to go on that sort of side rant there and just mention that when it comes to those slurs, the best thing you can do with those, if you think this is just not going to cut it in that situation, is add another note right below it. So yeah, just have fun with that. And hopefully this was helpful.